Let's make history. Like the United States, Venezuela is made up of states, but rather than 50 states, it's made up of 23 states. One of those states is Aragua. Aragua has produced the fastest growing gang in the world today.
Dangerous Tren de Aragua gang. So what do we know about their threat?
Three quick things about the Tren de Aragua. The first, and I've said this many times, but it's merit saying it again, it is the fastest growing transnational criminal organization in the world. Only 7 years ago, they had presence in 2 countries in South America. And within 7 years, they now have a presence in 10 countries throughout the entire Western Hemisphere. And that also includes right here inside multiple cities in the United States. Not even the Mexican cartels expanded that fast in that short amount of time. The second point is that the specialization of the Tren de Aragua from Venezuela is not drug trafficking, it's not money laundering, it's human smuggling and human trafficking. That's what they're experts at. All the countries that they proliferate inside the Americas, they tap into human trafficking networks and they push migrants across borders. That's what they do. When you go back to the history of how this was formed inside Venezuela, you have to actually go back to at least 2007 when Venezuela did a reform in its legal system and the prison system where they handed the prison to the prisoners. It's called the Pranato system, where they actually put prisoners, gang leaders in charge of the prisons inside of Venezuela. Then to 2011, they created a ministry of prisons where they consolidated this inside a prison in a state called Aragua. That's why it's called the Train from Aragua. It's a state inside Venezuela. And then the third is 2020, when they released these prisoners, 1,373 prisoners in particular from that prison under, get this, a program called A Path for Liberty. And so coincidentally, since 2020, we've seen mass migration start to pivot north from Venezuela into the United States for 2 reasons. Because the Maduro regime built an air bridge through its state airline into Mexico and a land bridge through the Tren de Aragua through the Darien Gap. So that's what to me, the biggest concern of this is we perhaps are dealing with a state-sponsored criminal organization.
And they have now made their way into New York City. Several of them were found squatting in the Bronx with guns and drugs and in the company of a 7-year-old. There are currently roughly 5,000 members. Police are investigating them for approximately 70 robberies committed on mopeds, one of which older woman in her 60s was dragged and smashed into a pole in the process. They're doing much of their recruitment within the new migrant shelters that are now here in New York City, which the politicians here have been really pushing to assimilate the new people who came in illegally, who were shipped here, who came in illegally and were then shipped here from many southern states because they've been overflooded and haven't been able to get proper help from the White House. So they've been shipping them to cities which call themselves sanctuary cities. There are these huge facilities where they're housing many of them. They're overflooded. It's a backup workforce. It's cheap labor. It's a smack in the face to American citizens, no matter what your race or ethnicity is. Many people who came here legally are offended by it. Immigration is a beautiful thing, no doubt about it. But common sense says you have to have a system of bringing people in. You can't just let people just crash the gates with a constant flow of hundreds of thousands, millions of people. The numbers are climbing every single day. It's not sustainable. These are not just Latin Americans, many Africans, Arabs, etc. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to Will Flores TV on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and X.